I'm gonna get you later. There we go.
Special meeting to order. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Dominic, Johnson, Williams,
Here.
Lynn,
Present.
Bowman,
Present.
Baker, Lynch, Escaday,
Here.
Thibodeau,
Here.
Cox,
Go.
Smith.
Here. I'm sorry.
We have a form, Madam Clerk.
We have prayer by Commissioner Bowman and pledge by Commissioner Thibodeau.
Mr. Bowman, we got a couple of preachers. Oh, well.
I don't see him. Where is he?
Bishop's here.
Oh, Bishop Caldwell.
Bishop Caldwell,
Will you
we'll
please come
pray
and
for
pray?
him.
I didn't see it.
Y'all believe in prayer?
Yes, sir. We sure do.
Depends upon if it's a work session. Depends upon if it's a work session or a regular meeting.
That's right, Doctor.
Pray for me too, man.
Depends on who you're praying to. Talk about that.
You know why they call it a pulpit? Because sometimes it's a hard pull out the pit. I tell you. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for government and good government. We thank you for these that have committed their lives to serve in this parish. And Lord, we pray that wisdom would come to bear in this chamber today on every issue, not only today, but for years to come. We ask that you would bring our hearts and minds and make them one, that we may galvanize our efforts and realize that it's not about any single commissioner, it's not about any single project, it's about Caddo as a whole. So we ask that you would allow us to divorce ourselves from our own prejudices, from our own desires, and do what is best for the benefit of Caddo Parish and those that are on their way to live here in the future. We pray now in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Praise Jesus.
Join me in a pledge. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For all.
All right.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Do we have any agenda additions? We move to citizen comments.
Citizens who wish to address the commission on any issue other than zoning, please fill out a comment card located in the chamber foyer and return to the president or the clerk of commission. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes. I have 4 cards. So for first one is Mr. Billy Grissom.
Billy Grisham, 3390 Jolly Napier Road, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71119. Did she say 3 minutes?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Talked the wrong number, 3 minutes. Mercy. So got to put the time on me because I get to going. I've lived out there 38 years, and I got there, Dr. Bickham told me, he'd been there about 2 years, and he said, you know they're going to put the Dawson Road through to Greenwood Road. I said, well, good. So about every 6 months, I'll ask him, how you doing on your road project, Doc? He said, well, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. When I moved out there, I saw that the road ditches hadn't been cut, so I called the commission. Said, well, we don't have it in the budget to cut the road ditches, bush hog the road ditches. So I bush hogged the road ditches, and I still bush hog them to today. They put the bridges in, which is appreciated. Did good for the drainage on the big ditch there. But when they let the bid on the bridges, they didn't put a go around. So all of a sudden, people had to drive 10 miles to church, 10 miles back to the grocery store, had to either go to Kelly's or all the way around Lakeshore. So I own some property there, so I built a little drive-through for myself, and all of a sudden people got interested in my drive-through, and they recommended I go to the commission and see about some gravel, or maybe them taking over. I'll donate the land. They said they couldn't do that. I said, well, what about a little gravel? They said, we'll vote on it or something. So they come back later on and said no gravel. So I had some gravel, so I maintained it and kept it where we could go through, and luckily it was in the summertime, if I remember. We didn't have a lot of trouble with it. It washed out one time, and I put it back, and we didn't have any accidents, and anything go wrong, so it worked out very fine. But I got a no on that. There's a big gully on the northwest corner of Jolly Napier and Jefferson Page, and it's washed out real deep to where some of the utilities were showing. So I asked them when they called down to the commission, when y'all dig out some road ditches with the throwaway dirt, could you dump it there? I'll go grade it to where it won't get deeper and deeper and deeper. And I got a no on that, I guess, because there's no dirt bin. That's been several years ago. So my grandpa told me that the wheel that squeaks usually get the grease. So I'm here to get a little grease today. And I'd like for y'all to consider putting the road through to Greenwood Road, because it would certainly help a lot of people in a lot of ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grissom. Next, we have Miss Laura Timberlake. Please state your name and address for the record.
Laura Timberlake, 3718 Dawson Road, Shreveport, Louisiana. Honorable Commissioners, we do appreciate you and we applaud you for the effort that you're putting forth on extending Dawson Road. But we're asking you today if you will just walk 1 mile in our shoes. Walk a mile in our shoes. You're looking at a widow whose husband passed away, waiting for an ambulance to come. I told the neighbors, put my husband's body on the back seat. I'll drive him to the hospital myself. Met the ambulance on the way. I heard you say that a fire station is being considered. The fire station will not be the answer to us to get out more than one way. It's helpful and it will be needed, I'm sure. So we applaud you for that. But we need to have a road that will go through. I will tell you something. You know, we are surrounded by gas wells in the area. In case there's an explosion, as there was in Stonewall several months ago, there's only one way out. What is the dollar value that you can put on just one life? We admit that the fire station will cost less than building a road right now, but in the long run, consider all the maintenance. The trucks, the maintenance on the building, utilities, salaries, and God knows what else. Walk a mile in our shoes today. Someone said we have a choice of where we could buy property. Well, in the 60s, it was a lot different. We had to buy property in neighborhoods where we would be accepted. In the community where we live, a dentist's house was bombed while it was being constructed. He didn't get a chance to move in.
Amen.
We had to buy where we could live and be comfortable. And Dawson Road is why we chose Dawson Road. Not because that's the only place we could have chosen. If we could have, we would have bought in Spring Lake. Yes, we live out there. And if it rains several days straight, that road does flood. We live there, we know. We've had to wait until the waters receded to go out. School buses, I had a parent to tell me last night, her children had to wait for the school bus to come half a day because the buses could not go through. We live there, so we know what goes on there. Yes, we've been there over 50 years. We've paid taxes over 50 years on our property. And the original ancestors, the Dawson, they've paid taxes more than that. So 1 year of taxes, 2012, would never convey the taxes that we have paid to build that road more than once. And we don't mind the taxes have gone to build other roads. That's the way the system works, and we know that. We were taught to ask, and it shall be given. To seek, and you shall find. And you knock, and the door shall be opened unto you. We're asking, we're seeking, we're knocking. Find the compassion in your hearts, the care and concern for people that need your help. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Lanny Hudson, or Miss Lanny Hudson, I'm sorry.
Hello, my name is Laney Hudson. I reside at 4009 Dawson Road, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71119. And I'm just going to be real quick today, try and make my point in this given time, and to kind of reiterate what Ms. Timberlake just said about us living on Dawson Road. I have a couple, I guess you would say, questions or statements concerning some issues that was brought up in the last minutes. It was stated on there that along the Dawson Road, there's 44 people currently paying property taxes. There might be just a few people actually on Dawson Road, that 40 and 4. But what about the surrounding streets? Iron, Brick, Page Lane, and all of the others that I can't name at the moment. Those people have the same problem that we on Dawson Road have. They got that same one way in and one way out. If something should happen at the Dawson Road, Jefferson Page area, they're stuck just like we are that's on Dawson Road. So we definitely need that opening. One of the other things, when it was talking about the issue of public response, well, I'm standing here as a witness. Back in 2007, my husband had a paint can to explode in his face. It took the paramedics almost 15 minutes to get to us. His nose was actually severed or loose from his lips. And I have pictures here to show you. His face was severely burned. But the point I'm trying to make is, you can imagine what the bleeding was with all the nose detached. So the point I'm trying to make is this. You were saying that with a new fire station, so to speak, would say, the extension of the Dawson Road would save the response time 4 minutes. So my question to you is, aren't we worth that 4 minutes? Can you put a price tag on a life? What if a person has a stroke or sever an artery? That 4 minutes could be the difference between living and dying. So that is another thing that we have an issue with. Okay, one other thing that was stated by Mr. Glass. He said that beyond the Dawson Road, where the Dawson Road ends, is raw land. Now, I don't know what you mean by raw land, but I live at the end of that Dawson Road. Where the gravel road ends, my home is there. And we've been there 16 years, and we've been fighting the same issue for that 16 years. So I think we should be given some kind of recognition and benefit for the taxes that we're paying, because if we don't pay taxes, our property will be taken away. It'll no longer be yours. So since we are struggling trying to pay our taxes, which is honoring the law, then we should be given some kind of consideration and benefit for what we do, just to do what we are supposed to do. So basically, that's what I'm asking of the panel today. Do what you're supposed to do. Have compassion for the people. You know, I know that you don't live there, you're probably in an area you don't have that problem, but consider the people that are in the area with the problem. And with one last thing, and then I'm done. I'm talking about the gas wells. There is a gas well between where we live and the exit. If that well should explode or the pipelines rupture or fire, we can't get out, how are we to be evacuated? Because there is nothing between me and that gas well going out to the Dawson Road. We are beyond the gas well. It's between us and the only exit that we would have in getting out of there. So I can't see how we could be evacuated. If the road was extended into Greenwood Road, we could drive over there ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hudson. Clifton Starks. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon, Clifton Starks, President of Central Trades and Labor Council. The address is 3924 Greenwood Road, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71109. And thank you, Chairman and the other commissioners, for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. It's so important that you all would consider doing the extension of the Dawson Road. Part of our mission are to support programs that will enhance our citizen of Caddo Parish and Bossier Parish, and as you know, the Haynesville Shell, they did a lot of property in West Shreveport. And with that said, I know that the Caddo Parish Commissioner probably received a lot of royalty taxes from those Haynesville Shell's investment there. With that said, hopefully that you would understand that the citizen, whether in West Shreveport or any other part of Caddo Parish, they pay taxes. All of us pay property taxes. And we also realize that you all are commissioners, which is seeing after your citizen and constituents within Caddo Parish. And I'd like to commend you all for doing so. It's not when you get to West Shreveport, it's not just one commission. It's not a Ken Epperson area. It's all of y'all area. Whether it's West Shreveport, South, North, or East. Earlier, if you notice, and I'm sure y'all have looked at the map, Jolly Napier Road, I believe it leads all the way through from Jefferson Page all the way to Lakeshore, which is very good. It definitely need to, and it's there. The Dawson Road, it don't lead to the Greenwood Road, which it should, because there are times that when accidents occur that they have to detour traffic, and it's very hard because there's no exit really to get onto the Greenwood Road. So I would ask you to please consider moving that forward. It's so important to everyone, because you know we have to keep in our hearts and mind that the most important thing is to try to take care of our citizen within the parish. And with that said, I'd like to wish each and every one of you all a Merry Christmas and your family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year to you too, Doc.
Mr. Stark.
Mr. Lester Smith.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Lester Smith, 4148 Theo Street, Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm here also for the same reason that those that came before me, but I come with a different mindset. I see us oftentimes when it's something that's needed in our community, and I heard what the rest of them said, but I don't want to come in that vein. I want to come in the vein of what's fair. Because oftentimes when things are needed in our community, we got to call meetings. We got to do feasibility studies and all of this crap before you, and then you're not going to do it, you know, just give us the song and dance. But we can go out north of Shreveport and we can spend money. And I heard that one of the commissioners say what's good for North Shreveport is good for all of Shreveport. And I beg to differ, because when it comes to our community, we always got to call meetings, have prayer visions, and do this and do that, and then you still are not going to be fair where the issues are concerned. And those people on Dawson Road and in that surrounding area, they pay tax just like anybody else in Shreveport. And then we have to come down here humble with bowed heads, asking you all to do what you should do just for the sake of righteousness you should do. But we have to come with bowed heads, dancing and playing to you all, pleading with you all to do what you all should do. And I don't think it's fair to us as a people. I don't think it's fair for us in 2013 for the situation to go the way that it's going. And my problem is, we as a people, we have got to stop giving our support where we can't get support. And whenever you all want something, you can always find some of our people on this commission who are willing to work with you all. But then when there's an issue with us, you want to play games, you know, with us, or you'll put one of you over here to where we won't cry discrimination, but in reality, it's discrimination and racism. And you know, people want to be politically correct. I don't care about politically correctness. The issue is racism is the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and his best friend is prejudice, which is the two-ton elephant in the room. And in this bill in this size, you can't help but see that, and people won't say that because they want you all to do something for them, but you shouldn't have to beg to get people to do what they should do. You know, and just as a man and living in this city, I'm tired of begging to get no results. You all need to do what you need to do, and I say to my commissioners, if you can't get people to support your ideas, when it's time for their ideas, I think you should be the same way. They don't have your support because it's time out for this madness. Thank you.
Mr. Clifford Collins.
It's really clear. Mr. Collins.
Oh, man, I didn't feel it so big.
Good afternoon. I think this is my first time coming back. My name is Clifford Ray Collins, 4040 Calderwood Drive, 71119 Shreveport, Louisiana. Chairperson and honorable members of the board, it's a pleasure to stand before you and conduct business for the people. I want to talk about 2 points of view here. One is quality of life. Until Shreveport and the Caddo Parish decides that it's going to try to increase the quality of life for the citizens, we're going to continually lose members to other areas, to DeSoto Parish and Bossier Parish. So this is a quality of life issue, and we need to address it from that point of view. The other point of view is something that you all can identify with, is economic development. One of the key elements in economic development is adequate road structures. And if you have the facilities and have it there, then you're going to have some significant growth and development. And if I had to look at Caddo Parish, I would think that West Shreveport would be the area that a lot of attention needs to be paid to, because we have the land mass and other zonings and things that can allow for some significant growth and development, and that would benefit the entire parish. So I ask you to consider this situation very seriously. When I traveled to Washington, D.C., I remember in some meetings with some of the top executives, they bragged about the fact that we had outlined and done 3132 and done some things that cities like Baton Rouge has not done. And I think we are right now at a point where we need to continue to move in that vein and stay ahead of the game and move to extend this road so that we can continue the growth and development that is so available for us in West Shreveport. I want to thank you in advance for your vote and your considerations. Thank you very much.
Rafi Nerjay.
Well, my name is Rafiq Najjar, and I'm a citizen of the United States of America, and I live here in Shreveport, Louisiana. I moved here 8 years ago from Oakland, California. And I moved here because my family have land out on the Jefferson Page Road. The land been in my family since 1871. And so I moved back here from California to work with my family and see if we could kind of organize ourselves and prepare ourselves for the future development. Because the way we are moving now in America, small business is going to be the way that we're going to dig our way out of this recession that we've been in, or these bad times we've been suffering over the last 15, 20 years. But, you know, I want to kind of change the flavor of what we're talking about. Everything that my neighbors have said is great and true. But I want to take it to the next level because we're talking about free enterprise and we're talking about opportunities to make a difference in terms of making life better for ourselves and our community, getting involved with education. Now, I'm on the master plan committee. We put that master plan together with the help of the commission here. They came together with the council and hired these consultants out of Boston to put this master plan together. Now that we're trying to work that master plan, we're having, you know, difficulties getting the resources and, you know, the materials that we need to move forward as a community. Now, what we are asking the commission to do today is work with us. And if we need, you know, we meet with Mr. Epperson all the time, and we can talk to you about our future plans for free enterprise. There's people talking about bringing in some kind of energy plant out in that area. I'm negotiating right now. I wrote this plan for the master plan committee to revitalize the inner city of Shreveport housing stock and provide affordable housing for low-income people. So I'm negotiating with a housing manufacturing company to bring a manufacturing company here to Shreveport for us, and it'll probably be in the West Shreveport area because it's so, I mean, it's just need a lot of help out there. So anyway, you know, there's just this great big opportunity for us to take advantage of, and we need to really have the support of our leadership and that we put in office to represent our interests. And I hope that you do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Bishop Fred Caldwell, Sr.
Last time I got an opportunity to speak twice.
Pass the plate.
My name is Fred A. Caldwell, Sr., 7480 Greenwood Road, Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm here to speak on the Dawson Road situation. First of all, I think, well, the Bible says, where there's no vision, the people perish. Now, if you happen to be white, and you don't care about black folk, then being trapped at the Dawson Road is a perfect situation. If you're black and you don't care about your people, then being trapped at a dead end at the Dawson Road is a good situation. Right. If you have a Sarah Palin mindset, then nobody's going to move you off of that because of your constituents. Sarah Palin doesn't live here. All this mess in the country, even with President Obama, is because he's a black man. The problem in Caddo Parish is that it's the most racial divided community anywhere you want to go. And that's why a lot of business ain't locating here, because of this same mess that's going on right up here right now in this chamber. What's the problem? It ain't y'all money. It's our money. Ain't y'all money. You don't own the money. So if you go behind closed doors and spend $750,000 to add on to an existing road to make it a bike trail. Go ahead, Bishop. 17 miles. I drove it today. From Wascom, that exit in Wascom, Texas, all the way to the Greenwood Road is 17 miles coming west. You can find money for that. Find money for the Southern Loop and give land. Because Negroes want something. I ain't up here with my head in my hand. I think it's wrong. In the year 2000, that we got to fight these same battles that our foreparents fought, dealing with the same mess. But when white folk want something, money is found. Now, whether it comes across this public forum or wherever it comes from, it's done. That's not right. If it's 6 blacks up here and 6 whites up here, then why can't you all lead and show this whole community how things can get done? I don't think that you all should be up here to fight one another. What is good for Caddo? To me, that's the issue. What's good for the parish? What's good for the parish? I live in the parish. If you stop in front of my driveway for 5 seconds, it's a sheriff on your bumper. This stuff has got to stop. Y'all up here to represent all of the people. This ain't just a Kenneth Epperson thing. This is a quality of life. Thank you, Mr. Collins. This is a quality of life thing. And it's time for you white folk to get y'all act together. And it's time for you Negroes in here to get y'all act together and quit selling one another out and ask one question. What's good for Caddo Parish? That's why you elected. What's good for Caddo Parish? It's at least $4 million sitting out there right now that should go into this project. $4 million at least. It's almost $100 million you all got right under your hand. That's our money. The issue is not a fire station. It's always a runaround, an end run, because you want to discourage us from coming down here asking for something. Right. It's not right. It's ungodly. God ain't in this. How you going to take my money and then decide you ain't going to help me with my money? All right. My money. See, but because you all are in power, what you don't understand is that there's going to be a shift. Now, I know all the Negroes in the urban section, the white folk have run into the outskirts. I know because I live out there. But crime in Queensboro is the same thing in Keithville. Crime is crime. So what needs to happen right here is that $4 million need to be put in that budget. Quit talking about all these feasibility studies and all that stuff, and let's just move this thing forward, because I've been at Greenwood Acres Church for 32 years. I'm familiar with Cartwrights and all the rest of them. People out there ain't got no problem with advancing this community. It's y'all up here with your constituents in your ear that's polling you. Well, if you go to church, you teach Sunday school, you say you're a Christian, okay, it's time now to show that. We need to get rid of this Jim Crow racism mindset in this area, because it's killing everything. That's why a lot of business not making a commitment to Caddo Parish. In Bossier, it's twice as worse, but at least they're growing. It's not right. You all have an opportunity to move this community forward. It's going to increase property value. It's going to bring in more taxes. People will be able to do more things with it. Why this woman got to stand here and beg at the end of a road where a gas well is? Y'all supposed to be looking out for us. That's why you're up here. When it comes to vote, y'all get in touch with us. And then when we come and ask you to do the right thing, all of a sudden, hey, that's a Negro over there. Hey, that's a white man over there. It's not right. It's ungodly. It's ungodly, and it's not right. So I'm asking you all to do the right thing. It's time for this commission to get colorblind and to move this parish forward. There would be a whole lot of people, but it'd be like the 4th of July and everything else, when y'all do the right thing, because the area is going to grow. And that road coming down through there is going to cause this whole area to grow. And it's sad that a lot of times people that serve or voted in to serve the public, you don't walk in the shoes of the people. So what? You live in a $500,000 house. You care less about them folk out there on Dawson Road. And that ain't right. When God elevates you, you're supposed to take care of his business. And his business is people. Wow. So y'all need to get rid of this 6-6 mess and get down to the bottom line and move Caddo forward. Thank you so very much.
I'll make a comment to clarify some information. Where the number of areas that this was representing. Okay. I just want to let everyone know this is a regional issue. This will be Dawson Road, Edna Lane, States Oil Company Road, Lloyd Jones Road, Emerald Isle, Greenway Avenue, California Avenue, Brick Street, Alma Road, Jolly Napier Road, Lords Road, Duncan Road, Washington Lane, Iron Street, Burton Road, Joe May Lane, Rhoda Street, Rockwell Place, Morrison Drive, Clem Lane, Laura Lane, Idaho Drive, Rice Road, Fifth Avenue, Nevada Avenue. Also representing surrounding communities which are less than a mile and a half in radius: Greenwood Acres, Deer Creek, Oak Hill Community, West Peak, Steeplechase, Western Hills Estates, Rolling Ridge, Timberline, Fairway Forest, Greenwood, Yarborough, Greenwood Hills, Colonial Heights, West Shreveport Alliance, Twilight Meadows, and Western Hills Subdivision. Regional. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, whenever everybody's still speaking, when we get ready to talk on the ordinance, I want to talk now. And so.
Wait till we get to that. Next item, sir.
Next, we move to new business, reconsider ordinance number 5358 of 2013, criminal justice fund review and adoption.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner.
we're not going to have communiques. Had to communicate. I thought that was always on our agenda.
No, sir. This is a special meeting.
Oh, okay. All right.
We had, where we at now?
Reconsider ordinance number 5358 of 2013, criminal justice fund.
It's not, that makes
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to withdraw that item on the agenda.
Point of order. Our clerk is just telling us something.
Huh?
The clerk.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. I thought, I'm sorry. I was confused. I thought, no, it's fine.
I want to make sure we were okay. Okay. Thank you.
Withdrawing that?
Yeah, he's withdrawing. It's been moved by Commissioner Epperson.
Second by Williams.
Second by Commissioner Lynch to withdraw ordinance number 5358. Any discussion? Please vote. I have a card that came up late. It's over there. Right. Carl Rice. Give him
What was the vote?
I move that we, gentlemen, be allowed to speak.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Epperson, second
Dr.
by
Rice.
Commissioner Williams.
Dr. Rice speak.
We did. We just voted.
Correction, Madam President. I did.
Okay. Please vote.
What are we voting on?
Allow him to speak. Allow him to
Yeah,
speak.
There's nobody objecting, just let him
Go
speak.
ahead, let him speak. You know,
Tony Rice.
Mr. Rice.
Thank you. My name is Carl Rice. And I say we, as family members, about 8 of us own 500 acres right there on Rice Road. It's very close to the areas I understand that y'all think about a road. That road's been thought about for at least 30 years. And there is a open right-of-way that goes to the end of Rice Road that goes toward the lake. And my comment, I polled some of my family members this afternoon. We, frankly, are neutral on whether you do it or don't do it. If you did it from the Rice Road, you would be helping us, because it would make our property worth a whole lot more money because we could develop it. Right now, there's a 40-acre tract. It's for sale, and has been for sale for, I'd say, a year and a half. They're on the Rice Road and been divided into 5-acre lots, and no takers. I mean, there's absolutely no interest in it at all. I might also say that if you did want a road, the extension of the Rice Road probably would be the wrong decision, because Brooks Road, if you went straight, you'd be hitting Washington Street down there. To go from Brooks to to the Rice Road, you'd have to either make an angle or have a dog leg that would go west for probably a half a mile and then south. Well, that'd be more than that, it'd be all over a mile. So our property that we have, we use for raising cows and for country. We like to fish and hunt and recreation. We've got some horses, and we would just soon you not do it. But on the other hand, if you want to do it, we would applaud you on that, because it certainly help us the value of our land. I'd be glad to answer any questions anybody has about it.
Come out there and ride one of them horses.
What's that?
Come out there and ride one of them horses.
He ride one of them horses. He wants to come ride a horse. You never been on a horse, Michael.
You're invited to come ride those horses anytime you want. I might add they might to run with you.
Thank you. Is that it, Mr. Wright?
That's all. Yes, thank you, Dawn.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Next, we move to ordinance number 5347-2013, Capital Outlay Fund for review and adoption.
I'd like to make a motion, Madam Chair.
Commissioner
I move that ordinance number 5349 of 2033, the Public Works Fund, that 2.5 million be expended from that fund and transferred to ordinance number 5347 of 2013, the Capital Outlay Fund, for the purpose of feasibility study, right-of-way acquisition, and beginning construction on the Dawson Road extension.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Epson. Second by Commissioner Williams. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd just like to say that
Go ahead.
we've there's been ample discussion over a number of years. I really would like to apologize to all the citizens that are here on this issue. And I'd like to apologize too for also not having this budget adopted by December the 3rd, which the date that we had set. Please accept my apology. I think this issue could have been easily resolved. There's been a lot of discussion that's going on, a lot of talk, a lot of facts have been presented. We know the intention, we know the needs. It's a basic need. And I think at this time, if we would, I would ask that you all would go along with me in this request and vote in favor of my particular motion.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I think enough been said in the room about there need to be a climate change here in this parish. There need to be a leadership in how we see Shreveport and Caddo as a whole, as an inclusive parish, where we represent the diversity of our parish, regardless if it's north, south, east, or west. We're all in this thing together. And it is the taxpayers' money that who we serve for. We serve at the pleasure of the people that elected us. But unfortunately, there are times when we do have a spirit of confrontation when it comes to resources and what part of the city that benefit the most. And it shouldn't be like that in this day and time. And it's a sad commentary in the 21st century where we took down the rebel flag and we're still having these type of conversations. There need to be a reparation of the forefathers. These are the grandchildren of forefathers and slaves that live in that area, that stayed in that area, that came back to live here, and provided the tax dollars over the years and over the years and over the years, picked cotton, and many of them have died and paid a debt of their life and liberty, justice for me to be able to have the opportunity to be elected as a young African American, and we shouldn't let their bones be at rest. We should let them rest in peace. Let them know that their fight, their battle for struggle and equality, that's not in vain. And to ask for $2.5 million for people in that area is just a down payment of reparations that our forefathers have paid. And I hope that the commissioner would prick the conscience of the commissioners up here and give the people what they ask for. Give the people what they need, but also of all, give the people what they want. People just want justice. So I hope that we execute justice up here And I petitioned this body to give the people what they needed, what they deserve, and they have already paid the down payment on the road. It's just something long overdue that should have been done a long time ago. And, you know, we shouldn't have a double standard. We should have a rule for this part of the parish and a rule for this part of the parish. And when tax time comes, tax renewals come, these same people we vote no from, we go back to and ask them to vote yes for a tax that benefit every part of the parish. This government body, like every other government body in America, takes from the people, and when the people ask for return on their investment, they don't get it. So we got to stop bamboozling and hoodwinking people and just say things just to get things passed, and when it's sometimes to get a return on investment, they don't get it. We have to have these type of divisiveness and diversity and division on this body. We should come together in this city, in this parish. It's time that we work together for the common good of all people, especially African American people who have paid their dues. And these are people not coming for asking for a handout. They're asking for a hand up. They're asking, let's join together. We want inspiration. We want economic development. We want commerce. We want better quality housing. We want to be able to raise our children in a great community, in a great parish. We have the opportunity to do that today. Let's not hold back justice any longer. It should have shame that it took 30 years to build a road for people. They already paid the down payment on it. And I hope we move forward with this collectively together and send a message to Caddo that we are all in this thing together. We are one big community together and doing what's best for everybody in this community, regardless if it happened in Commissioner Epton, even if it happened in my district. I want to vote for what's best for everybody. We don't always agree on how we get down the Yellow Brick Road, but let's get down that road today. And where we can see the change and the happiness of the people in that community, the diversity in that community working together, the significant impact it will make in that community. I hope that we don't delay this any longer with studies and research and feasibility studies. We done studied stuff too long. We ain't found a cure for cancer yet. We've been studying that for years. Heart disease, study. We're going to study. Some of them may not live around to see the road. We keep on studying. We done studied stuff long enough. Let's move forward. I'm not looking backwards. Let's move forward to a better Caddo, for a better road, for a better tomorrow. Thank you so much. And God bless you, and I hope we vote for it.
Mr. Thibodeau.
I'll speak for myself only. For someone to come up here and say because you're not getting what you're asking for is racism is someone that's not looking around. And let me give you an example. As we look around this room right here, we have a black administrator. We have a black director of finance. We have a black attorney. We have 6 black members of this commission. We have 6 white. We go to the city, we have a black mayor, and I think the first 3 or 4 next top administrators are black. We have 4 whites and 3 blacks on the city council. If we go to the school board, for the last superintendent that was here, I think the top 5 people in the school board were all black. We had 6 black school board members and 6 white school board members. So for someone that's been around this community for any length of time, comes up and says because I'm not getting what I think I should get is racism, is somebody that's not telling the truth, in my opinion. Now, as far as roads go in this parish, we have not, and I think Mr. Glass said something about this in the last committee meeting, that we have not built any new roads in a long, long time in this parish. Whether or not Dawson Road should be extended, I don't know. I really don't know, because number one, when you build roads, one of the first things you have to look at are numbers. Will the numbers justify the expenditure? Not only the initial expenditure, but the expenditure of maintenance. And I think I saw something on the news the other day about someone who had been hit and killed on the Dawson Road. And when they were interviewing some of the people on the Dawson Road, they said that people come down the Dawson Road, go 2 or 3 times the speed limit. They've run over one person and killed him. I think that was in September. And a couple years ago, another man, I think, was hit and hurt. And one of the things they wanted were speed bumps. Well, folks, you can't have speed bumps on a road that you're asking to go all the way through to Greenwood Road. That's not going to cut it. And then we have another person who comes up and tells us that we're neutral in as far as whether or not you run down Rice Road in this example, but we really kind of hope you do, because it's going to raise the value of our property. Now, there is a certain process by which has to be used, and it doesn't matter where the road is. People can, you know, a lot of people make their living being racist, and I can't help that. I can only tell you that there's a certain process. I maybe have tunnel vision when it comes to that, because that's the only way to be fair, is to look at the numbers, the cost, and everything that has to be done with this particular project. That information has not been brought to anybody. Nobody knows the answer to that yet. So my vote will be no, because I'm not going to spend, in this case, $2.5 million, and we were told at the last committee meeting that probably we would have to upgrade Rice Road, and there would be some other upgrades that would be necessary. So it wasn't $2.5 million, it was closer to $4 or $5 million. So we don't even know the cost of it. So this isn't a matter of whether the people on this road are black, white, green, or yellow. It's a matter that we don't have the information. And I realize there's still going to be people that say, well, it's because the people are black. Well, folks, I can tell you some places in my district that there's only one way in, but I'm not going to come up here and ask the parish to build a road because there's only one way into a subdivision. I'm not going to do that. That's not the responsibility of the parish. So I'm asking that, number one, that you vote against the motion that's on the floor, and then, you know, if you want to vote on a study, then, you know, that needs to really be done first. You know, I may or may not vote on a study, but I know I'm not going to vote on something where I have no idea what the cost is going to be. That is irresponsible, and that's irresponsible to me as a representative of District 9 and as a representative of the entire parish. So that's the way I see it, and that's the way I'm going to vote.
Commissioner Dominique.
Yeah, I wanted to talk, but I had a couple of questions for Commissioner Epperson. Where did you say the $2.5 million would be coming from? Did you say? Did you say allocate?
Public Works Fund. Public Works.
Okay.
Got 11 point, should have it in this fund balance, $11.6 million in that fund.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure of that. And then you also were quoting the other roads, saying it was a regional project. You weren't saying that those roads need to be extended. You're just simply saying by the extension of this Dawson roads, it will help that road, is what you're saying.
That's right.
You know, we did have a committee meeting the other day to talk about this, and, you know, obviously I'm not on the committee, but I was here. And it was determined that one of the things we needed to do was talk to the fire district. And then the other thing is, you know, to talk about a feasibility study. Along the same line as Commissioner Thibodeau says, you know, a lot of questions were brought up. You know, how much is this going to really cost? I know I asked our Public Works Director, you know, where they came up with the $2.5 million, and it was some preliminary figures that they came up, but as Commissioner Thibodeau said, it could be more. There were some issues about the right-of-way acquisitions that may need to be required. We know that there's an oil well that apparently is the preferred route, but we're going to have to bypass that oil well. And the other things that, you know, some of the stuff that Commissioner Thibodeau was saying about the maintenance and expenses. And then Mr. Rice is here saying he's neutral. We just don't know, or I don't know, and I don't think we're going to know until we have a study exactly what is the best route, what is the cost, and how this needs to be happening. I mean, I would strongly consider supporting a feasibility study, and that may determine that this road is needed, but it's just hard to say that we just need to go ahead and spend $2.5 million and put it in our budget to do this road when we actually have not had a study. And that's a procedure that we've always used when we have funded such a project. And so I'm going to be voting no on the motion as it currently stands also.
Commissioner Bowman?
Yes, ma'am. I'll make it brief. I heard first of all, I like this thing. I've heard this is not a race issue, and I really believe that it's not. I would like to believe that it's not, because I know I'm the new guy. I've just gotten here.
Yeah.
But
Why you think that?
well, whether it is or not, I would like not to believe that, because I respect and love each person up here. What I do know is that, I'll go back to what President Theodore Roosevelt said. He said the best thing that you can do is to do the right thing. The worst thing you can do is do the worst thing. And what's worse than that is to do nothing.
All right.
So I believe, my mother once said, and always told me, that if you stand for right, sometimes you have to stand alone. I'm standing on the fact that I believe that as intelligent as all 12 of us are, that we are beyond what I believe, because I don't believe in race, I don't believe in party lines, I believe in doing what's right. And I believe that we all, as intelligent as we are, can come together better than what we're doing in a spirit of compromise to make something happen. This is not a new issue. This is something that's been going on since, what?
Oh, you were born.
So, before I was born. At the same time, I do know that there's a process that we do, but we have money. So, I know, long story short, that we can make something happen in the spirit of compromise, and I don't want us to leave going into a new year being considered and compared to as the council and everybody else that this is something race, or that we are the incompetent ones. We are the intelligent ones.
Amen.
We're working with stuff, with GM and other stuff in the past to bring things new. We are doing that. And so I do not see how we cannot come to something that will help get this road built, and how we can move forward collectively as a whole, to be more intelligent and just to do better. Because we're here to represent people and not ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Cox?
I'll agree to our junior commissioner. We need to work together. I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. I live in Southern Hills. My district waited 3 years for a project I worked long and hard on. 2 roads and a service ditch. 3 years. But I had to work through the process. And the process takes time. Okay? But when it got done, the residents were happy. The ditch was dug out. It was done. And the roads were done. It took me 3 years to get it done. But we did it the right way because of things have a process. Does this road need to be done? Probably. Have I seen all the information? No. I have seen the information that has been given to me, not all that I need to know. Money. Is 2.5 enough? From what I've heard over the last few days, no. So why be unfair to the residents of Dawson Road? Why be unfair to the residents of Rice Road? Why be unfair to all that neighborhood like Dottie Bell here the other day? She says, we got all the money in the world. Well, that may be if you look at the form of government of the school board that can't get their stuff together, and the city of Shreveport who can't get their stuff together. Simply because if they see a project, they do not work the process to get it done. They throw money in a bucket thinking that bucket's going to pour back out double the size. It does not work like that. I'll work with Mr. Epperson in any way possible to get this done the right way. That means a process. Feasibility study first, which which means we go from door to door. And if Mr. Epson wants me to work on Saturday and Sunday, working door to door, I'll be right beside him. Just had back surgery, so he may have to drive me around a little bit.
A little pushy, man.
Big truck. Big truck. But the problem is, we need, as all commissioners are saying, we need to work together. But we all need to know the information for you, the citizens. Okay? I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to work with you, to get it done right the first time. Because I've been here 10 years. Ms. Lynch has been here 10 years. When we came on board, the parish government had a certain way of working. I credit her and I in some form of changing that. Now we do it right the first time, so we don't have to go back and apologize for something that wasn't done right. Let's make sure this is done right for you, the residents, and get you the information you need. Give us the information we need. Because from 2.5 up to 5.4 possible, that's a big gap. Okay? Has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with religion, Republican, Democrat, Independent. It's about doing it right the first time. And I think y'all will agree to that. Okay? But once it gets done and the figures are out and it justifies the means, by all means, let's break some ground, kumbaya, all that, as Mr. Epson usually says, and get it done. But 2.5 is not the number we need. I want to know the number that it's going to take. And I think you, as residents on Dawson Road or the surrounding areas, would agree. Why do it halfway? When we do it right the first time, we do it all the way. Agreed? Thank you.
Mr. Epson.
Mr. Dominic, you stated about the fire district. You know, the Louisiana statutes give fire districts the right to levy taxes for operating and maintenance of equipment. About the fire district, helping the fire district. They have the right to levy a tax, which they have, there's a tax now that the people pay in that area, okay? So if they have an issue with response time or getting that station built, it's totally in their hands. It's a process. They have a board. Okay, they can meet and make a recommendation to increase the millage, bring to this body, and they send out, that's the process, okay? So that's not an issue here. Okay, that's totally in the hands of the fire district, which I have all the minutes of the last 18 meetings. I got their budgets, so, you know, we're looking at that aspect. They know what they can and can't do. We also, you know, we're talking about feasibility studies. I think we had a, well, I know we had a, well, let's go back to the capital outlay prospective draft budgets, you know. I think the capital outlay budget is basically put in the hands of the administration first, right? They pick the things that they figure are in there, and then come to it, they meet with us, and we glean it, and so forth and so on. I had asked for two items in the capital outlay, 20 million for a feasibility study for a zoo.
20,000.
And,
20,000.
Pardon?
You said 20 million.
20,000. Woo! That's a good got a lot of giraffes in that. 2.5 million for the Dawson Road extension, which it did not get in there. You know, I held some meetings out in my district to inform the citizens of the upcoming October the 19th election. There were some commissioners on this floor as people come down here and spoke, stating that, hey, if we pass that rededication of that tax, it could probably help us out in many ways. So that's what we did. I asked these citizens, I run flyers off, asked them to vote in favor of that, hoping that, hey, we're going to, you know, we're going to do what we can to help them out there. Well, maybe we can get this thing in. In that October the 18th meeting, it never was put in the capital outlay budget. It was put down at the bottom as a little addendum. On October the 18th special project committee meeting, I'm not a member of the committee, and Mr. Johnson, who's a member, I asked him to make a motion to put 2.5 million during that special project meeting. Ms. Lynch seconded, so that way we could get, we could get something going on. Guess what? That was voted down. Didn't even allow it to be brought up for debate or discussion. I could hear some commission saying, oh, let them put it on there. It ain't going nowhere. We're going to vote it down. See, does that show a clear intent of wanting to do something? Once again, we shouldn't be here today. This was November the 18th. The budget meeting was December the 3rd. We need to put it in the special project budget so we could debate it. And we're talking about studies and need. What more need do you have than the flooding in 1995 when the bridge was out? Mr. Grisham talked about it. I was in District 6 representing that. And of course I went out because I had a vote on it to see for myself. That was an issue then. Feasibility, what more feasibility can you have of these people living out there 25, 30, 40, 50 years knowing of the problems? And it's gotten to the point where, well, let's go back on, I think a meeting was called on Monday the 9th, special project meeting. Here and again it was brought up by Mrs. Baker to put some money in for a feasibility study. They didn't even give the common courtesy to second it. So it died. Here and again, not coming up. I have gotten to the point, these citizens have gotten to the point that they do not trust this commission and administration. Met, discussed, talked. What more feasibility could you have than that? Mr. Wilson, you remember when I questioned during the budget meeting, asked we're going to question Mr. Glass about some things, and they say, oh, you're going into a personnel deal and all this need to be an executive session. But they didn't say that when they was beating Mr. Everett up down there, talking about his salary and all that. I wouldn't go on that route. However, I asked Mr. Glass for all information, maps, emails, everything relating to the meetings that we had relative to the Dawson Road. And you know what I got? 8.5 by 17. Now, residents of that area, do you remember all those big maps and drawings and things that we had on all those meetings?
Yeah. Remember.
So that makes me think that somebody is trying to, pull something over. Residents do not trust this administration based upon what has transpired. The minutes were transcribed, and there are some things in there that just didn't fit. Weren't the same thing. And I asked Mr. Wilson, if you know of the so-called procedure policies that we got in place. Now, if I operated somewhere, I would have a line of procedures and policies. If a citizen come down and say, we need a road developed in our area. Yes, Madam Constituent, Mr. Constituent, this is the process that you'll have to follow. Never have I seen such a document. Do we have one in place? Never have I seen one. And I'm a stickler. What was that project in Greenwood with that drainage problem that we had? What was that ditch?
It was wasn't the part of the Gilmore lateral coming from Greenwood to.
But anyway, here and again, the staff from Public Works, the people came down. They had the TV videos. They had all the information. I asked our staff. I say, well, look, you blowing hot air out of these people. What do you have in writing that you say, I told Mr. So-and-so and this, that, and the other? That doesn't amount to a hill of beans. In God we trust, but from man and black and white. Wow. Get that understanding. I've had that issue since I've been here. Nobody had any records of anything. just talking. That's not the way to do business.
Ready.
486 employees, high-level leaders and staff in different positions. We got to do better. That's why the citizens don't trust us. I asked for you to vote for the $2.5 million. We know that this isn't going to be done overnight. Out of that particular amount, do the feasibility study, and then as we walk along, let that be a certain phase of it. But this is the only way that I feel that the citizens will have confidence that we are sincere in moving this project forward.
Commissioner Lynn?
30 years ago, I'm willing to bet that the people that led our community, our parish, anticipated we would at least double in size and population in the next 30 years. And 30 years ago, I'm confident that there were several streets that pointed towards one another, like Rice Road and Dawson Road and Washington Road, but principally Washington Road and Dawson Road, how they point towards each other, and they planned on connecting them. And I'm sure that 30 years ago, that nobody anticipated that the exact same amount of people traveling cars would still exist 30 years later. I view roads being built as being based on automobile travel and need for increased automobile travel from getting to A to Z. And the simple fact that the size of Caddo Parish's population has not increased significantly in the past 30 years is the only reason that I can see that this wasn't built 25 years ago. And looking at that is the reason why I see that I can't vote for it today, is that the population has not increased in 30 years for our community as a whole. And with that, I mean, the property taxes, does everybody know that your increased likelihood for annexation into the city with property taxes, and that there are other ways to get roads built with Title 33 road liens in putting some roads in? I believe that there's a process to build a road, and I'm comfortable with searching processes for roads built in Caddo Parish, and would like to see us follow the process in place to determine a need for a road rather than the road was promised 30 years ago, because the road was promised 30 years ago with anticipated growth in the community of Caddo Parish as a whole, and we haven't had significant growth in Caddo Parish significantly. Unfortunate, and that's very unfortunate for all of us, because 30 years ago I would have guessed our population would have at least quartered in that size. Anyway, that's all. I won't support it until we have a study. Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome. Commissioner Escaday.
I just have a few thoughts. This is difficult. The fact that it's really hard to make a decision if you don't have all of the information. But I do want to go back a little bit and say, I don't know most of the people in the audience today, but I know the most of the people up here, with the exception of a few. I think being a racist would be the last thing anybody would use when talking about me as an individual. I have worked tirelessly for the commission as a whole. I've had no projects ever that were specifically for District 8, the district I represent. And it goes from Broadmoor to the end of the parish. The port happens to be in that district, just happens to be there. And we did do the Bentler Steel project, and that's to bring about 550 really good jobs to people who need them the most. Just happens to be there. The General Motors facility that we're considering doing just happens to be in Commissioner Epperson's district. But it's for all the people of this parish. I have supported things This is a quality of life issue. Someone brought that up. It's a convenience issue, it's a quality of life issue. Where I put my votes and my support and worked hard are things not necessarily quality of life, but quality of opportunity. Creating opportunity for people to lift themselves up and do better. And just a few of the examples that we've done the last couple of years that nobody's bothered to come and protest about or even say that's a good thing has been our contribution and expansion of the aircraft maintenance program out at Southern to help those young people gain skills and jobs and work out a deal with Jet Express here so they can stay here and work once they get out of that school and not have to go to Dallas or Houston. Expanding and creating a nursing program at Southern University to help people learn a skill that can develop them a good job and a good career. The digital media program out at LSU. These are things that they're not bricks and mortar, but they create opportunity for our young people and people our age who need to learn a new skill because technology has outpaced our skills. This is the way that I have worked to uplift people and try to improve people's lives. So it's not so much about libraries or roads, but it's about creating opportunities so people can make good living and pay taxes. I have worked probably harder the last 2.5 years, along with Commissioner Wilson, with the Shreveport Common project, to get Allendale and Ledbetter Heights back up on their feet because they've lost half their population in the last census. And there's no reason for those people not to have moved other than crime, erosion of the infrastructure, housing going down. We're going to bring that area back. So I guess what I want to tell you is everything that I've worked hard on, along with most of these people up here, hasn't been in my district. Doesn't matter where it's been. That being said, though, this road may be needed, it may not be needed. You know, and I know that people are saying, oh, feasibility studies, you know, they're bad and bad. Well, let me tell you why they're going to have feasibility studies and why what you're asking me to do. Almost, with the sake of the money, would just be willing to say, here, we'll build the road. They're going to have to do a feasibility study anyway. You know what that feasibility study is going to tell you? Is it going to project how many cars are going to be going down that road when it's built? And at what miles per hour it's going to be built? And what their projection of accidents are going to be. That all comes with a feasibility study. So we could build the road tomorrow, and then you may not like it if we don't know what you're getting into. Oh yeah, well, you know, that's fine. What I'm telling you is true. You're going to have increased traffic out there. People are going to be cutting through there. That's fine if you can live with that. Speed limits are going to have to be adjusted. It's not going to be a dead-end street. So there's all kind of issues out there that maybe you've considered and maybe you haven't. So you want me to say, oh yes, I'm going to let you have what you want, but are you sure you want it till we know what those figures are? Puts me between a rock and a hard place. I don't know if I'm helping you or hurting you.
We want it.
I understand you want it, but can you live with it once you get it?
Yes.
Okay, well, but all this, okay, that's fine. But I just wanted to put that out there that those are some of the considerations. That's what you're asking us to do. You're asking us to just basically do something without all the facts, and I'll consider that. We'll consider that on its merit. But people coming in trying to divide the work we do and all, you know, that's just not so. And I don't appreciate those comments. And I can tell you just to quote the Bible, because as you know, we all spend a little time in church. They come to you looking like sheep on the outside, but wild wolves on the inside. Just remember that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sitter. Anyone else? Commissioners? No other comments? Please vote.
Let's be clear. Read what we're voting on, Commissioner.
Mr. Clerk, please read what we're voting on.
It was moved and seconded to transfer $2.5 million from the Public Works Fund into the Capital Outlay Fund for a feasibility study, right-of-way acquisition, and construction for Dawson Road.
Phase construction.
Please vote.
Any of this crap.
Oh, I didn't erase your line. Do you
That
say it ain't
fails,
changed?
6-2.
Come on, man. That just showed we pulled the
Wait a minute,
chain.
Mike, wait a minute, Mike.
That fails.
Move to
6-6.
adjourn.
Second.
Adjourn.
Yeah, we voted.
What about the other one?
We got more agenda?
Yeah, we got more agenda.
More on the agenda, you can't just adjourn without
What
going
we
to the
have?
agenda.
Not debatable.
Oh, we have two other items. We have two other items on the agenda.
I'll tell you what Mr. Glass said. Ask him, he can tell you what was built.
Parliamentary.
I'll stay here, I'm
We
done.
have two other items.
It's not debatable. Move to adjourn is not debatable.
Debatable when you move to adjourn, it's not debatable.
It's not debatable.
What about the rest of the agenda?
I just asked parliamentary, he says we can't vote.
Move to adjourn is not debatable.
Wait a minute.
We could.
We have to vote.
You can't
adjourn.
adjourn. You can't,
The motion
unless
is
you're
not
at the end of the
debatable.
agenda.
We
Unless
should
you're
get
at
to
the end
vote
of
on
the
it.
agenda. Yeah, that's what I said. You can vote to adjourn.
We didn't
We
vote.
didn't vote. We
He
didn't
said
vote.
move, he said move to
gotta vote on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's my understanding. Yeah, you can just leave, but stuff will still happen.
Vote on it.
If you got a quorum, do what?
We're not adjourned.
As long as we have a quorum, we can keep going.
Okay, let's vote for
At
the
least
next
want
move.
that
Let's
resolution.
vote to, yeah,
I'm moving for,
MPC resolution.
let's
Thank you.
vote to,
Say it.
There was a motion and a
Say it out loud,
second.
Doug.
motion
It's
moved
not
for
adjournable.
ordinance
You vote
number
on it.
So we need to vote.
5347,
We need to
capital
vote.
outlay fund to be adopted.
Second.
hold on.
Wait, what are we doing?
Motion to adjourn.
We first got a vote to
We're not adjourned.
adjourn.
That was
We
not
have a
done
motion to
properly.
adjourn by
So
the
we're not
chair,
adjourned.
seconded by
No,
has to vote.
it was motion by Lynch, second by
What left?
Epperson.
Well, they're here. We went to vote to adjourn.
vote to adjourn.
Or to not.
I'm sorry.
At least want to do this resolution. Vote to adjourn. Yeah, we got other stuff. I can't see. I don't know where it's at.
Okay, that should be everybody.
Everything on here say
you hadn't
cast
voted.
vote cast.
I voted no.
Oh, you said you had. Some people ain't.
5-5.
So we're still
No,
in the
you're,
meeting.
we're
So
still
in
in
session.
Show up there,
So we
Doug.
still in the
It
meeting?
does too.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, no, it doesn't. I voted no.
Okay. 6 no.
Mine's not showing.
Where are you at?
Under Thibodeau?
So it's 6-5.
6-5, so
We're still in the meeting.
we're still in the session.
Okay. Coleman?
Is that correct from the legal?
I'm sorry.
Mike.
Is that correct from the legal?
Y'all need me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still meeting.
Next item is clerk.
Ordinance number 5349, 2013, Public Works Fund for review and adoption.
Move for adoption?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Dominic, second by Commissioner Lynn. To adopt, ordinance number 5349, public.
47, isn't it?
47.
49, we did
No,
47.
47.
We didn't do 47.
We
Okay.
did 47.
That was a motion to amend 47, and it failed, so we
Okay.
now have to
Then
vote
what
on
did you say?
I said 5347. I'm going through the agenda, so
Okay.
I made the motion for 5347.
It's been moved by Commissioner Dominic, second by Commissioners Lynn to adopt ordinance number 5347. Is there any discussion, Commissioner Dominic?
Yes, capital outlay.
Please vote.
Well,
I'm asking if any discussion. I asked
Okay.
Dominic first. He didn't say nothing.
Okay. You said please vote.
Oh, I did not. I said Dominic.
You know, I'm ready to vote for it, but I mean, you know, if this thing's not gonna get done, I mean, I would consider funding the feasibility study. I don't know if that's gonna work or not, but I would consider that. So, I don't know if anybody else here.
Maybe you have a recess and caucus and talk about it.
I got.
Probably can.
Put it up right now.
It's capital outlay. Okay.
Yeah.
You done?
I'm done.
Commissioner Escaday.
I'll make a substitute motion that we approve capital outlay as amended at $150,000, up to $150,000 for the feasibility study on Dawson Road. That's more, but up to, as my words, it covers it all. At the same time, reducing the capital outlay fund by $1.5 million at the recommendation of the capital outlay committee, and adding $246,000 to it from the building maintenance fund.
Second.
Okay.
Say what?
Well, I can explain it.
Commissioner, don't, excuse me for a minute. Commissioner Dominic, did you make a motion?
I initially made a motion, okay?
I thought-
5347, he's made the substitute motion.
I vote we have a recess so we can discuss what's going on.
Hold on, Commissioner Lee.
Meeting the last meeting we had to reduce it.
Can you repeat yourself, Commissioner Escaday?
Okay. Explain it too, please, because I know what you're talking about.
Doug's motion was to approve it as it is. I'm offering to amend it, adding up to $150,000 for a Dawson Road feasibility study at the request of Finance and the recommendation of the Capital Projects Committee, reducing the capital fund budget by $1.5 million of oil and gas money with the cuts that everybody agreed to,
in the committee,
and putting $246,000 from the building maintenance fund into the capital outlay budget at the recommendation of Finance. That's my motion.
So I'll do second or friendly. Yeah, I'll let you adjust that. Yes. And I'll talk on that if you want.
Well, I'm done. I mean,
Man, ain't nothing to talk about. Let's vote. Let's vote. Let's be sensible and vote. Let's be not
Hold
be
on,
like
wait
Congress.
just a minute, wait just a minute.
Be like
Commissioner, what'd you say?
You got people that want to
I
talk
know.
on the.
Commissioner Cox?
Well, that was the same motion I was gonna make, and primarily it's because we get the ball going, okay? The feasibility study may, people say, well, studies have been done. Okay, that may be here or there, but now we're going to push it to get it done. Feasibility study takes what, and I'm gonna ask out of turn if I may. Feasibility study takes what? Month, 2 months? Okay, I would ask that we put this on the fast track and try to get it done as quickly as possible, but do it the right way, okay? And in turn, we can go back to the citizens of Dawson Road, of Rice Road, of all that area over there and say, you know, we are doing it the right way. And that way we have money set aside. If they come back and say, we need to do this, this, and this, and give us a number, that gives us something to go on. But the main thing is, it's actually going forward. It's not getting stuck in committee. It's not a 6-6. It's actually getting done.
Where's the 150 coming from?
Commissioner Thibodeau?
Mr. Glass, I want to ask you a question.
Michelle? Leave him on there.
Now, the feasibility study will tell us, I mean, it will give us a lot of details and facts and figures. Will it also tell us whether or not it is a wise thing to do to build it or not build it?
Yes, sir, it'll study, I mean, we'll put everything in there. It'll have the traffic patterns. They'll talk to the people that live out there, get their views on it. I mean, it'll cover everything. And it'll give us the right route to go, because there's numerous routes. I mean, the route that we have on those maps were from when we talked to people, you know, a year or two ago. It might change now, I don't know.
But their recommendation could be not to build.
Your conviction.
Yes, sir.
Cool, man.
All right. I think this is the right way to go, and in the spirit of compromise, I'm willing to support this substitute motion.
Commissioner Dominique?
I wanted to say, a couple things. I did agree with Commissioner Epperson. He made a good point to the fact, you know, that there is no written procedure on what to do if citizens come down here and ask about the road. And I've asked about that before. Like the 60/40 program, and I have to tell them, but there's nothing in writing, and you can't go to our website for them to figure that out, or, you know, if there was a road to be built. And I think that's a good point. And the other point I would make would be that I think that we are trying to compromise to do something that Commissioner Epperson, I believe, you know, we hear you now. It seems like, you know, you try to do something on this, and maybe we didn't listen really good, but we hear you now, and if we move forward with this feasibility study, maybe we can find out what really needs to be done out there and take care of, you know, of this road if it comes back in a positive way. So I would hope that we would all stand together to try to move forward and pass this as it is so we can get our budget passed and move forward next year.
Commissioner Lynch?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that the motion that Commissioner Escaday made is the original one
From a week
that we
ago?
looked at on December the 3rd, the only addition being the $150,000 for a feasibility study, right?
Correct.
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
How you know that's enough now?
Study will tell us.
Well,
it'll definitely
cost about 100.
Commissioner Lynn?
I'd like to commend Commissioner Epperson and Mr. Clifford Ray Collins for coming together on this common issue and that it is good for your community. And I want, Mr. Glass, if you could come up here, I want to ask you something about a feasibility study. Is that the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and you have a community of people that are coming together saying that they want something, and you have power brokers screaming loud and preachers screaming loud and phone calls being made. When we do a feasibility study, will it say, well, yes, Dawson Road is on the list to do it, but we have these 2 streets where people aren't screaming and people aren't jumping up and down and people aren't begging to have this road built that technically really should be built before Dawson Road to serve the parish as a whole?
Now, once again, we've only built one road in the last 20 years, one new road. Just don't have that much need for a lot of new roads, so it's never been an issue before. But, you know, I will say there is somewhat confusing the way we do the budget. The capital budget that we all go with is presented to the commission at the budget commission retreat. And that gets approved then, and then now we have the capital committee also gets, so it sort of gets a little crossways in there about, you know, how you would approach this. But before we build any road, any new road, you need to have a study built. I mean, a study done to show exactly how it needs to be done. I mean, there are a lot of questions out there that we just don't know until you get some guys out there on the ground and see where's the best route. And you know, they'll talk to the people, you know, they'll talk to everybody. That people live out there. Their traffic patterns come down Jolly Napier off of Lakeshore, Jefferson Page. What's the traffic going to be going through there? You know, how fast should it go? How big a road should it be? There's a lot of things that, you know, you just don't go out there and build a road. It's a big issue because you can't move them after you build them.
There you go.
With that, I guess I'm going to repeat my question another way. That when you look at building a road and you say, okay, we're looking at building Dawson Road, and we're going to, you know, connect Dawson Road somehow, some way to Greenwood Road, and you say, well, this is all great and we can do this. Never mind, our population hasn't increased in the last 30 years, but there's these 2 or 3 other roads over here that if you really wanted to serve the parish as a whole, like we keep saying, like I've heard over and over today, we want to serve the parish as a whole. These people aren't screaming, but their need is 10 times greater. And their wait on an ambulance is 30 minutes. And it takes them this long. And they only have one way in and one way out. They don't have 2 ways in and 2 ways out. And instead of them living at the end of, let's say, a mile, they live at the end of 2 miles, and it would only take, you know, a half a mile to connect it to another road. And so I mean, I recognize that the people that have come here today have brought to our attention a need that they have an immediate need. However, I'm wondering, does somebody else, instead of the numbers that they have, but at twice the numbers or 3 times the number, have a greater need? And I feel that it's my responsibility as an elected official representing the parish as a whole to have the strength to say, let's serve the parish as a whole and serve the community as a whole, rather than rather than the people that are the loudest and the strongest at the moment, and serve the people that are really in need, the most need.
Well, the study, the feasibility study will only address that issue. Yeah, they're not going to look at something like that.
In spite of that, I would still vote in favor of it. Thank you.
Don't go nowhere, Robert. I got a question.
Commissioner
Rob,
Johnson.
how long will that feasibility study go?
I'm guessing 6 or 8 months. I mean, we've still got to find somebody to do it, and I mean, all that takes time.
What comes after the feasibility study?
Once they do it, we'd come back to y'all with all the information, and once y'all give us the, and we would also address what, how to build it. We rarely build, a road in one, we usually do it in 2 or 3 phases because so it won't beat your budget up so bad. And so we would just make a recommendation to y'all, and if y'all voted, we'll build it. I mean, it's y'all's decision to tell us to build it or not. But we would come back with y'all with this study, and in all those questions you're asking us, we'd have answers for you.
So hypothetically, feasibility comes back saying that the road needs to be done. How long would it take to build that road?
I would assume we usually build them over the spring and summer. I would say probably 2 years after that. I'm just guessing 2 phases, maybe 3. It just depends. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of issues we don't know about. If we end up doing it down Rice Road and we might have to fix those roads, we may not be able to do that. We might be able to take another route. Some of the people now are saying that they would give right of way through their property that were not saying that 2 years ago. There's so many unknowns, I just don't know.
Okay, so basically, after 6 to 8 months,
I would think 6 to 8 months to get the study back.
It has to come back before us, which should take another couple of months. Then you're saying it'll probably take another 2 to 3 years to actually build it and be complete with it.
To finish it, probably. I would think so. I mean, it takes a long time to build a road.
Okay.
I mean, if y'all, that's another, we can recommend that. If y'all want to say do it in 2 phases and give us the money to do it, we'll do it in 2 phases. We can speed things up. I mean, that's an option.
Okay. Woody, question for you. What all do we do feasibility studies on?
Just about any major project. We're doing a water study now as a feasibility study on how we would roll out the regional water supply system, and which is a roadmap of how we would put it together. And we are currently doing that now. Mostly, master plan type endeavors, but any large project we would do a feasibility study on it, sir. But we have to know
what's a dollar amount that would trigger that feasibility study, a possible dollar amount.
Usually on large projects that have, I would say, a value of $1 million or more, we need to have the feasibility study done.
Okay.
Some things a little more simplistic than others, but usually for a road, we have to have the engineering, the geometrics on the road, all that. We need to know what those things are.
Okay. I sit here and I listen. You can sit down, Robert. I sit down and I listen the last 3 meetings of people, different opinions and reasons why they won't vote for it and will vote in favor of it. And just to name a few, one person or a couple people said about the process. Well, if you go through the subcommittee and you make a motion on the floor of the subcommittee and it fails in the subcommittee, then the next proper challenge is to bring it before the body. So either the process is screwed up or, something is wrong there. It was also brought up in the capital outlay meeting where the motion failed by vote. And when, to me, a commissioner is real adamant about a particular project, even if the project might have some rough points to it, I think that we all should be trying to work with that commissioner in order to get it polished so that it can be doable. Because I've sit here and I've listened to people come from they outside, other organizations come and say, well, we need X amount of dollars, multi-million dollars. And people say, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's do that. It's for the betterment of Caddo Parish. Well, you know, everybody don't feel that same way because what might be good for one person is not actually really good for the next person. And when you look at some of the projects that have come through us over the last 3 years that I've been here, all of them, to me, have not been favorable. But, you know, in the spirit, we've supported some, and some of them we have not supported. But anytime a commissioner is real adamant about a particular project, and he has his constituents come down here, not once, but many times, to be in favor of this particular deal, because this is what they want. We have not heard in the last year, and these people have been coming down here over a year, we have not heard nobody say they don't want this road. You know, and since we hadn't built a road in 20 years, I mean, that's no big deal. I mean, that's because nobody really pushed the issue to build a road. So if you look at the map, which I took out the time to look at the map, look at the area, one reason why you haven't had much development in there is because you don't have a road. You got a whole bunch of land, but no road. So it's a whole lot different than a regular subdivision that dead ends. Because I stay in a neighborhood that doesn't go anywhere. And nobody is going to say, well, we want a road to go out to somewhere else. We don't want that. But when you have an established neighborhood and then you have a lot of room for growth, you got more room for growth than you do the existing neighborhood. And some of the family members who have moved in other places will probably move back onto Dawson Road because now they got access to get to the property. There's a lot of property out there that you can't get to because there's no road. And I think this road, if you look at the dynamics of the area, there's no way to get from Greenwood Road to Jefferson Page. You have to go down this way, cut across, and come back around and all that. That have a straight shot straight through. I sat on I-20 one time when there was an accident. Couldn't get off and was nowhere to go. And if I could have got on Greenwood Road, I could have come across and came around to where I needed to go. But I couldn't do that, so I had to sit there. And I was late for a wedding because of this.
Hope it wasn't yours.
No, it wasn't mine. But it was a family member. But I was late for their wedding because I couldn't get off nowhere. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that come before us that we don't take this much time to debate, to discuss. And I think right now, I mean, we just didn't overkill this. I mean, it's something that's needed. The commission in the area feels it's something that's needed. Its constituents say it's something that's needed. We just ought to get on board and follow it out. Everything that we come here with, some things die, some things go on. But when people are adamant about something, 90% of the time, we go along with it. Now, it might be some things that need to be happening to make sure that we do this in line. But let's go and get that done so we can get it in line. I mean, right now it's like, need a feasibility study. Well, Public Works won't do it because they don't have the money to do the feasibility study. So the study won't get done until we pass something. So it's not that easy just to say, well, let's do that. Because if it was, it would have done it in the committee and we wouldn't be right with where we are right now. So it's a change of heart to do the feasibility study now, but I mean, let's do more than this. I mean, if we talk about the Shreveport Common, Caddo Common, we gave them over $300,000 to do a study, just to do a study. And there wasn't no debate. There wasn't about holding up the budget. It just didn't happen. And, you know, right after that study, we all know what's the dollar amount that's coming after that. But we hadn't talked about it yet. And it's way more than this. So let's be real about what's going on and try to do the right thing. Thank you.
Commissioner Williams?
I just want to piggyback on what Commissioner Johnson said in regards to if the road had been in place, it will repopulate and it will reinvest that particular area in the community. People will relocate around growth. You have commercial retail development and you have economic development when you got a road like I-49 just connected north. Economic development. people have an opportunity to get off on the road to get in the community and spend their dollars. So if there were been a road in the past built, we wouldn't be having discussion. It'd be a lot more development and growth in that particular community in West Shreveport. We didn't do a feasibility study on residential in the community. Should our parish administrator and should this person live in? Did we do a feasibility study on that? See the impact it would have on our parish employees here? Did we do an impact on that? And most times we go to a committee, if you don't have the majority of the number, it's going to die. It's going to die in the committee. That's what committee set up for, to kill good ideas, not sometimes to give them life. If you don't have the votes, then you have to bring it before this body. Then we debate it here. That's what happens. It did go through process. It got killed. It didn't even get a second. So yes, we did go through the proper channels in the process to try to get it on the floor. It died in committee. So let's not say that thing don't go through the committee. It died in committee. So we need to do a better job in the process. And I respect a commissioner, what he needs for his particular district. We haven't had this much activity in a while. The residents coming down here asking us to support them that support us. They vote on referendums. They vote on bond renewals. We're going to probably ask them to vote on the bond issue coming up. We can't send a mixed signal to these people, say that, yes, we are for you, then turn around and bamboozle them, hoodwink them, and don't support them back. We can't send mixed signals. We got to be consistent. If we spend money in North Shreveport, we need to spend money in West Shreveport, regardless of the amount. Now, we done studied things to death. I remember when I was on there, young commissioner, we put a 3132. You remember that, Ken? We dedicated some property. It cost way more than $2.5 million. I wish I could get those numbers. We put in a road almost called $4 to $5 million and gave the land. We didn't have no study done then. We just voted, supported because it was good for South Shreveport. We voted for it. So why we got to go through all this through these people? I'm not saying it's a racial thing, but it seems like it's an economic thing. It ain't good for this community because it ain't my particular district. That is so unfair. We can't say we're progressing, we're moving forward. Caddo is not the same. With the new flagship city of the New South, there's a great city of the South, and we still doing the same old Southern things. That ain't good. People are intelligent now, they're educated. You can't hoodwink them and bamboozle them no more to believing that you for them. Them days are over with. They're educated, they're very intelligent, they're wise voters now. They watch the internet, we on TV, we on everything. And they can pull these things up in our meetings. So I would ask that we would not try to amend. I don't want to see no more feasibility. Let's support this commissioner who's been working hard for these people. These people come down here, they're the voters. They vote on our bonds, they pay taxes. Their forefathers paid taxes. Their grandkids have paid taxes. Their children go pay taxes. They need this road to improve the quality of life, include the access to be able to get in and out, to have the fire safety, the fire department, the police. Minutes does count. You're talking an experienced firefighter who, the life and death in a minute could save somebody's life. Do somebody have to die before you put a road out there? Somebody always have to be the sacrificial lamb for something to happen in this community. We don't need to do that. So I'm just saying, if your mother or father or children lived on this road, would you be feeling the same way? Would you feel the same way if your children, your grandmother, your family lived on the road that needs 5 minutes for the fire department to get there and the response time? Would your attitude be the same? I don't think it would. I don't think it would. I don't get road built in my district, but I want to support new growth in every district in this community, regardless of where it's at. I have a proven track record of doing that. I haven't been in my district, in District 9 or other districts, but I support the growth. I support water and sewage problem in North Shreveport, so the citizens up there can have access to water. I supported that. I support new roads in District 11, so people can have access to roads. I supported that. If it's good for you, that part of the community is good for all of us, and it's a win-win for everybody. So let's look at the win-win as a team. It ain't a team if it ain't for me. So I ask that we not feasibility study, put the money there. If we need more, we have the ability to put more money in the budget for that. So let's stop making excuses. Let's move forward and put the road for the commissioner. He requested it. The people requested it. Things die in committee, and they never get on the floor. I ask for your support. ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Commissioner Lynch.
My question is really not even on this. Mr. Wilson, where everybody go? Where all your folks went?
They're still here.
Oh, I can't see
They're
them.
hidden in the back.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure y'all hadn't taken another extra day off.
They usually at 5 that they deserve.
All right, thank you.
They are warm tea right now.
That ain't your bite. That's what a piece. That's what he wants.
Commissioner Epperson.
I defer.
Commissioner Dominique. Wait a minute, you did what now?
Commissioner Johnson.
Over here.
I'd like to make a friendly amendment to Commissioner Escada's motion.
Wait just a minute. Commissioner Williams, Commissioner
I'm sorry. I'm
Escudero.
finished, man. Thank you, Madam Chair. You did good with that mallet. I'm proud.
I'd like to make a friendly amendment to your motion, and that we would take 2.5 million from Public Works, but we would split it up into 2 years. First year, 2014, would take 1.25, and then 2015 would take 1.25 for the construction of Dawson Road extension.
That makes.
Need a second.
Second. Friendly amendment.
Digest this.
Wait, can you repeat that, Commissioner?
Instead of taking the money over the first year, because talking to Robert, it's gonna take 2 to 3 years to build. You got the 6-month feasibility study. So basically, you'd be funding it over the project, and it'd be done in phases. Instead of taking the 2.5 in 2014, it'd be done 14 to 15.
I'm just talking myself.
Okay.
But I am able to speak. He got a second.
Second. Well,
He's trying to
moved
amend
by
my motion.
Commissioner
Friendly amendment.
Johnson, second by Commissioner Lynch. And he was just making it clarity.
Is
there
that
any
a substitute
discussion?
motion he made?
The
Is that a
substitute
friendly
motion
amendment?
to
or-
Commissioner Escudero.
LBJ, man.
That's not what he asked. He's asking to amend my motion.
Right, he's amending your motion.
That's what I thought.
I'm trying to digest it. Thank you, just a second.
How long it's gonna take you?
Point of order. And he amended Doug and mine's.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I
Doug-
offered a
no, Doug did the
substitute. I
original.
offered a substitute motion.
Okay.
He is offering to amend my motion, which is
Okay.
different.
And Doug did the original motion.
Right.
We got to pass this budget.
Original,
And I did
substitute,
And an
amend.
amendment too.
and I did the second.
And you got you.
One question. What if the feasibility study comes back and says this road is a boondoggle and a waste of money?
Then we had to start from scratch.
Then we have to start from scratch?
I mean,
They ain't gonna come back with that.
I mean, if it comes back like that, then I'm quite sure it probably won't. But if it does, then we have to handle it at that point in time. Right now, all thing we trying to do is allocate funds so that they won't get stopped in the process. The process will continue.
Okay, I'm standing by my motion. Make a separate motion if you want to do that.
Okay, I'll make a substitute motion.
Okay,
Original, substitute.
yes.
We vote on Johnson first. then last.
I have 2 more people,
You got me?
3 people. Commissioner Dominique.
Kind of threw me for a loop on that one, but
That's what I'm supposed to do.
well, the substitute motion that
Number 1 or 2.
Commissioner Escudero made was one that I was going to kind of talk about, and I guess couple points I was going to make was, you know, this Dawson Road, these people come up here and they're talking about this has been for 30 years, but, you know, shame on me, I guess, but, you know, I didn't know anything about it being brought up for 30 years, and I've had stuff in my district where people have said, you know, this has been talked about for years and years and years, and you know, I just say that I didn't know it, and I don't think the majority of these commissioners knew it until recently. LBJ, you said a year, but really it's been more like 2.5 or 3 months when Commissioner Epperson started bringing all this stuff up and the people started coming. And if this feasibility study goes through, if this is actually agreed upon, I want to make sure, Robert, you need to answer this. I guess you need to come up here.
Stay on the front row.
Yeah, I don't know why you go back there like that. You need to sit on the front row. Commissioner Epperson brought up probably, I don't know, almost a dozen roads other than Dawson Road. Surely, please tell me that this study will take into the account how those other roads will be affected if this road is built.
If you look at the traffic patterns that are going to go, it's probably mainly going to look Jefferson Page Road, most all those roads, I think.
They will look at, they will look at
They'll look at the traffic patterns on, that was going to be going on to, that we taking the cut through to Dawson Road to Highway 80. And they look at,
because when you start looking at just this one road, there's not just this one road, there's other roads to be affected.
Well, they would be able to use it, yes.
Sure.
I mean, yes. I mean,
Sure. But I mean, when these people come up here and they start about Dawson Road, Dawson Road, Dawson Road, some of us commissioners, we don't know until, Commissioner Epperson says, I got Rice Road and John Napier and all the other roads that he's mentioning, that it would impact positively. So, that's all I had to say. So, good to go.
Commissioner Cox,
On the substitute,
number 2, 1 or 2?
Mr. Johnson,
2.
I don't have a problem with it because I'd rather see it in tiers, with the first tier coming back from the feasibility from Robert's study to give us a price tag. Because, and I told Ken this, I told anybody that asked me, if we're gonna do the road and it's feasible, I need to know a price tag. Just like I just told these people out here, if we say, okay, let's throw 2.5 into it, and then we start, and then we say, can't finish it because we didn't have enough money. Now, okay, we got money, but wouldn't you rather do it right the first time? Have a study done that gives us an impact over everything and a better price tag on it? Because you don't go out and buy a car, look at it on the internet, and then get there and they done jack the price up on you. Okay?
Can I answer that?
As soon as I'm done.
Okay.
And no disrespect to you, but as soon as I'm done.
That's fine.
I'm looking at the roads on our map over here. That's a big undertaking, okay? And yeah, that road will get used a lot, and it's probably justified to people who've lived there for all these years. Should this have been done 10 years ago? Yeah, but it's getting done now, so let's do it right the first time. I don't have a problem with your substitute, having it in tiers, but if that first tier comes back with the study, and that study says we're going to need 5.8 or 4.8 or whatever, and that's above the 2.5 that Mr. Epperson has been asking for, then I'll be okay with that to vote on that information. But I don't want it to show that no matter what, 2.5 is going into that. It's got stipulations to it.
Right.
Okay?
Of course. That makes sense.
And that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to make sure that in the tier that you're asking for, that it goes first tier, second tier, third tier. First tier, we get the study back with a price tag and everything that's going to go on with it. And then, I really hope the people at Dawson Road is ready for the traffic. Already had 2 people hit, 1 person died. Okay? I know areas in my district, people want to shut off roads so people don't use them as a cut through. And that's all this is going to be. This is a primary example of a cut through that people are going to speed and do wrong.
Sheriff gonna make a lot of money.
Darn too. But I want to do it for the right. If we need to go in there and improve Dawson Road while we're building the extension, that needs to be brought out. If we need to do the ditches a certain way on Dawson Road while we're doing the new road, that needs to be brought out. I see Ken shaking his head. That's right. We need to understand the full focus of this road. I'm not against the building a road because, like they said, whoever owns that land, some developers are going to come through there and say, that's a good place for a trailer park or a set of houses or a business or whatever. I just hope they're ready for that. And I think they are. Yeah. But there are consequences with growth, no matter where you go. Okay? Let's do it right the first time. I agree with your tier, but let's put it in there where a decision will be made on money after the first one to go to the next tier to the final tier. Thank you.
So I can answer that now?
Yes.
Well, Commissioner Cox, I believe the number, the 2.5, came from some type of calculation. It wasn't just a number that came out of
That's what they've been
somebody's head.
spreading now.
Mr. Glass, was that number from a particular calculation, or was that just a number thrown on top of your head?
That was the number we looked at to get from Dawson Road to Rice Road, because those are the only two places that we had right-of-way that it looked like we could actually do it. The issues we do not know about are if we would have to upgrade Rice Road and Dawson Road, because now instead of being two dead-end roads, they're going to be through roads, and there's going to be a lot more traffic on them, so we probably would, and that's what the study would tell us all that. But yeah, the 2.5 million was looking to get from Dawson to Rice Road.
And how far is that? Many miles?
About a mile and a half. About a mile and a half.
Mile and a half. Okay. More than that. And there's some type of cost per mile and a half?
Yeah, we did a materials cost, but there were things, other things we don't know about. We don't think there's a requirement for a bridge. We didn't include that. I mean, those things would come out in the study because they're going to be in a much more detailed, you know, there's still an issue around getting around that gas well. It's a gas well right at the head of the Rice Road right-of-way. And you've got to have a certain, I think it's 500-foot clearance around that gas well. That's going to be an issue. Don't know about the right-of-way because we're going to get on 2 tracts of land that we have not talked to. Okay. So, I mean, there are just a lot of issues there.
Okay. Commissioner, you finished?
You had the floor. I'll just
You
answer
finished?
this.
No, I'm done.
You through too?
I'll just answer this question.
Okay. Commissioner Lynn?
Mr. Glass, you've already told me that you're not going to look at the parish as a whole as far as seeing which roads would need to be built first. When you're looking at Dawson Road, I keep hearing Dawson Road, I keep hearing Rice Road. Will you also be looking at Calderwood Drive and Treat Drive and connecting that to Jefferson Page as an option? Because I see that as a...
We didn't look at that. There would be another option that's next beside the sports mall area. There's a right-of-way there that it's already in existence, but it's owned by the state. But it goes up
What's
into
owned by the state?
I mean, I can show you on the map, but it's right at the edge of
That's Burke Kings.
Yeah, Burke Kings. It comes right up to about here, but it runs into a tract of land that previously.
Will you go back to the mic?
Yeah.
What do you have?
Yeah, he's talking about right there at the end of Burke
Had
Kings.
said no to giving us right of way, so we disregarded that idea, and then we concentrated on the Rice Road to Dawson Road because we found one tract of land that a man would get us to another tract of land that has already agreed that they would give us right of way, and we already have right of way on Rice Road, but the gas well's in the way. So there, I mean, there's still issues, but that was the most probable one that we might be able to get something done. So that's what we looked at.
Wait, and with this 100,050, will this do a cost analysis of all these options?
Yes.
But it won't compare it being the highest need for the parish?
No.
Okay, thank you. And with that, I'll support John Escadade's motion.
Okay. Can we take a break, bathroom break? Some people want to go to the restroom.
Okay.
We got 3 minutes.
Oh, come on, make it. Come on.
Okay, 5.
Man, yeah, you gotta go through like 3 different doors.
Oh my God. Break is over.
Let's go back to the top of the building.
No.
Right.
You got it.
We got to take care of it.
Okay, Commissioner Bowman?
I ain't gonna hurt you.
Call for a question.
Okay.
Call for the question. Second.
Call for the question.
On
Where's, Sherlock?
He's all right.
Around here.
You there?
Call for the question. Okay, we're calling for the question.
Michelle, I got the wrong kind of votes.
Last motion first.
You don't, yeah, last motion
Johnson's
first.
motion first.
Johnson motion first.
We gotta vote on the call the question.
Yeah.
Oh, we just did?
Just did.
It's over 2/3.
Yeah, we got it.
What about Sherlock?
Yeah, we got it.
Oh, okay, I want me.
Here we go.
How about yes? Okay.
Okay, first we vote on Commissioner Johnson, substitute.
That's correct. Take
And then this is,
Gotta read it.
Let's get
read
it
it,
stated.
Mr. Clerk.
Take 2.5 million from the Public Works Fund, transfer to the Capital Outlay Fund for the Dawson Road, 1.25 million to be spent in 2014, 2.5 million to be spent in 2015.
Okay.
Question?
Anyone want to,
Yeah.
Commissioner Escaday?
Now, you need to add a friendly amendment to that motion, removing 1.5 million from oil and gas for capital projects as recommended by the committee, and adding 246,000 from building maintenance fund.
Okay, we good. Can we put them two together?
Well, it's all capital outlay, so that's what I'm asking
Okay.
Lyndon.
Yeah, that's fine.
He accepts that friendly motion.
Okay.
A second.
All right. Please vote.
Dun, dun, dun.
Jesus. That passes. Hallelujah.
Oh, we gotta pass these other
We
budgets.
got two more. Don't get all excited.
No, we're not gonna pass it.
Ordinance number,
Next item, Mr.
ordinance
Clerk.
number 5349 of 2013,
So
Public
moved.
Works Fund for review and adoption.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Lynch. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Dominic?
I'll just say that hopefully, we're gonna get all this passed, but the ordinance number 5358 that I previously voted no on, I voted no because I thought we were having to vote on it, but it already been voted on, so there's no need to vote for it. I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
It's already been voted on.
It's already passed.
It's already passed last week, correct?
Yeah, the motion on the agenda was to reconsider,
Right.
which would have taken a 2/3 vote.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I pulled it.
He
It was
pulled
already
it,
approved.
dead.
The juvenile is already passed, so we're good to go.
Okay.
Y'all
Please
pass.
vote.
Thank you.
Brother Walker.
That passes unanimous. Next item,
Ordinance
Mr.
number
Clerk.
5351 of 2013, detention.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Cox. Is there any discussion? If none, please vote.
Bowman.
Hey, we look alike, don't worry
Okay,
about
Cox, you're right. Sounds good.
it. I'm just older and good looking.
That's what it is. Really? Debatable. Really, really.
That passes unanimous. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, resolution number 77, 2013, urging and requesting Shreveport Metropolitan Planning Commission of Caddo Parish to include 2 members of the Caddo Parish Commission on the committee responsible for
Moved by Commissioner Cox, second by Commissioner Jefferson. Is there any discussion?
Need to speak on it.
Commissioner Lynch?
This is my motion.
I would like to share one of the members.
Lynch?
Well, let me answer my question in his explanation. But let me ask this, who's all on the committee now? That's what I want to know from Stephen. Stephen Green, who's all on the committee now?
And Escudero.
Stay on the front row, Steve.
Windsor Andrews, let's see, Leah DeMarto, Alan Young, and Larry Ferdinand. I believe that's
Our new
correct.
member on that too.
No, no, he's
I'm talking about on the search
for
committee.
the MPC
That's what
director.
you're asking me, correct?
Right.
Right.
Correct.
That's it?
I want to be on that.
Okay, so,
Windsor, DeMarco.
other than the appointed officials, you all have no one from like the neighborhoods or anything like that? Just the appointed members of the board
That's all that's on there.
right now?
Right now. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Oh, no, we just got.
Go ahead.
Commissioner
Can I
Escudero?
speak this month?
You finished, Commissioner Escudero?
I didn't have a chance to communicate to you what this is about, but Commissioner Lynn and I have been serving the pleasure of the president on the Master Plan Implementation Committee along with Councilwoman McCullough and Councilman Everson, along with Mr. Andrews and several other members of the MPC. And I bring this up simply because we haven't, this will be the first time in 30 years we have hired a new MPC director. The last director was a member of the MPC, hired by the MPC and put into that slot, which can't happen anymore.
That's right.
Under state law. But seeing how this office is vital to all of the economic development that goes on in the parish, I mean critical, and the fact that by state law, back up a little bit. State law provided that the parish of Caddo and the city of Shreveport could create the MPC. It provided that we appoint the board members of the MPC. It provided that we both fund the MPC. After that, it doesn't provide for anything. It account for us, the hiring of the MPC director, all those decisions go to the board. And what I'm suggesting is that as we were part of the UD City, the 2 council members and 2 parish commissioners sat on the committee with the MPC director to choose those who would do the UDC study. Because we're fiduciarily responsible for that study and we wanted a vested interest. Now state law says they don't have to allow us to do that, but they did. And state law says that they don't have to allow us to do anything. But I'm of the position that we are the creating entity, enabling entity, appointing entity, and funding entities. That this position is going to be very important, that someone from this commission and a couple of members from this council ought to be on the committee searching for and hiring the next director.
That's right.
It's as simple as that. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Agreed.
I will go and get another minority. It's working.
No, ma'am.
Regardless, we need representation. I agree with that.
Well, that's just my thoughts on it, man.
Commissioner Epson? Lynn?
Along with Commissioner Escadade, I've served on the UDC with the City Council and with the 2 appointed members of the MPC, Leah DeMarteau and Dale Colvin. The first instance of working with the MPC on this, with the master plan and working with Commissioner Lynch, after some shenanigans and some bamboozling, I removed myself from the committee, and I believe she did also.
No, I
You stuck it out? Okay.
Then she stuck me.
When the UDC came to light, I wanted to see, and ultimately I will go back and say I believe that the master plan that we ultimately ended up with is a good master plan, though there were some shenanigans in the beginning. When the UDC was put together, then Commissioner Lynch stepped aside and I was put back on it, and I vowed for the same things that happened in the beginning of the master plan would not happen in the beginning of the UDC plan. And the MPC, Leah and Dell, I feel are very happy with the fact that Commissioner Escadade, Councilman Everson, and Councilwoman McCullough and I all stuck together to lock in step with what they truly wanted, and that there were no shenanigans. And due to the fact that the UDC has been going so smoothly and so well, I really feel that aspect, yeah, there's your photo right there, that we need to stick together and do the same thing that we did with the UDC, and that the MPC will be very happy to have us on there.
Okay, wrap it on.
That's it. That's all, Madam President.
Okay.
One point of information, please.
Go ahead.
I'll be brief. The city council is taking this matter up at their meeting. I think they're meeting Friday and for the holidays and all, and from every indication that just about all of them are supporting it as well.
No one else is on the board.
Okay.
That's good information.
All right, before we take this vote, because I know everybody's gonna leave, I just want to say thank you all so much for a wonderful year, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Please vote.
Merry Christmas, baby.
Okay,
this is for the MPC?
Yes.
Okay, but once we, don't we supposed to do a vote to adopt the 2014 budget as amended as a whole?
Yes.
We need to do that before the MPC thing, right?
No, she's saying we don't have to.
You've adopted.
Oh, we don't?
Oh, we don't.
Please vote.
Move for adjournment. Happy holidays. See y'all at the game. What's up?
Hey.
You got the superintendent, huh?
Oh, yeah, we got superintendent lunch, tomorrow. Woody?
What? Wednesday, I think.
Dr. Wilson, when is the superintendent lunch?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Just a reminder. Just a reminder.
Brian.
I forgot.
Yeah.